Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to In the Flow with Lauri Albert. Hope everybody's having a great day today. So, my guest today, I'm so excited. You know how, and I know I say this quite often. You meet somebody and you just have that connection, This is the truth for my guest today, and Spirit brings you to people that you're supposed to be with, in life. That's kind of how I've been feeling lately, right? So that's why I feel so strongly about this lady. She's an amazingly gifted clairvoyant medium. She's a remote viewer and a healer who seems to have found her calling in the creation of an amazing new metaphysical platform that will be live in October, okay? And the platform is called Evolvme, which is extraordinary if you think about that. So I will let her describe it and explain it to you. But I have to say that as one of the founding practitioners on this platform, the community that she is building is exceptionally extraordinary, right? It's nurturing, it's healing, and super, and you guys know this about me, if you listen to me at all, super high vibrational, okay? So, Theon Paulino-Filippelli, I hope I said that correct. Yes. She is such a beautiful soul, and I'm so excited to have her on In the Flow today. Welcome, Theon. I'm so thrilled that you are here. And did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, and very funny is that nobody ever does.
Oh gosh,
so that was perfect. Yes.
Oh good. That's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. So somebody, and I don't even know who it was at this point. Somebody that follows me on like Instagram or something said, "You need to hook up with Theon," and I was like, okay, and as I've said before, and you probably know this too, you probably get lots of emails saying, hey, can you help me out with this? Hey, let's do this together. And I live a spirit-led life. So I allow spirit to tell me, oh, pay attention to that email or message or whatever. Right. And so that's how I got connected with Theon. So welcome in. I would love to, I really just want to hear your story. I think I've described how we got connected, but how did you get to be where you are in this world, Theon?
Wow.
So, I know, sorry.
That's a big question. No, it's, well, the thing is, I have always been open all of my life, like most intuitives. I would see my grandfather, who had passed 2 years before I was born, all the time. And I would have this ongoing, jokey kind of argument with my mother. I was like, there is no way. I mean, because I can smell his cologne. I can, he would come to me all the time. And, I remember even just the way he did his hair and things like that, I would describe to my mother and being raised in a Catholic house.
Me too.
So you get it. So
yes.
That dismissive kind of, she was much better about it. No, honey, you're probably just, seeing pictures of him. I was like, no, because I actually interacted with it.
How old were you when you were doing that?
I was about, I remember before I can even, I don't even know. I remember seeing him as early as 4. And he would come to me often. Yeah. So I would interact with him. And, funny enough, he is one of my guides. So,
of course, I was just thinking that. Yeah.
So, but he was just a kind man, and unfortunately I never got to meet him in life, but, he is very much in my life now and even back then. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Oh my gosh.
And he was, he was actually a very active spirit. My mother would see him too. My other siblings, I on occasion had dreams about him and things like that. So he was really still wanting to be very much a part of our family.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. And so how is your family with what you do now?
Well, it's funny is I'm the youngest of 5 kids.
Oh, wow.
So, I was, instead of like, if you're the youngest of like 3 kids, it's a little different. 5, your parents are like, oh my gosh, another one, So, I had a lot, I kept to myself very much because I wasn't, really like my other siblings. I was very, I had this internal, what I thought was just this internal conversation. But, I come to find out later that it was more my connection with my guides. And, I thought it was strange that other people didn't have conversations in their head that would give you like answers. And it took me a while to really wrap my brain around what it was, because really there was nothing, in my upbringing that would have, kind of allowed me to know exactly what I was really going through. Which was kind of, in a sense was a little difficult because I did feel, that I couldn't relate to people. And so I of course pushed that down until I was much older. I've always been, into spirituality, but never really wanted to touch on that intuitive side.
I just have to say, I'm so glad that you just said what you said, because I know that a lot of people that listen to this podcast have similar stories, but yet they still are not developed. So the fact that there is a life on the other side, this is fantastic. Absolutely. So continue on. I just had to give you props for that, because this is exactly what I love talking about. So go ahead.
Yes, and that is really the thing about it too is that people, everybody has this ability. They just need to touch on it. They just need to develop it like any muscle. Yeah. So that's kind of what happened. So I actually started a business with my husband. We do technology and security for businesses. And, so I was very much in the physical world. And it wasn't until I had my son, who is now 14, but he, from the moment he could speak, would tell me about my grandfather, tell me about, and things that we would not know. He would tell me about the neighbor who had passed away, very confident in himself. He was never scared, which I'm very thankful for, because it is a scary thing for some people to experience. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he was amazing. And so I just knew I couldn't, deny that for him, and I had to nurture it. So one day we were talking, and he told me that my mother, who was my best friend, was going to pass away. And and he told me the day and everything. And I said, and my mother was, otherwise healthy. Yes. She smoked. And so I got really nervous, and I said, Mom, you have to stop smoking. You have to, Yeah. And sure enough, as he said, she passed away. Oh. Which really started that. I call it always my rude awakening. I needed to connect with her. I needed to get that continue that connection with her. So I sought out, first I sought out a psychic who came recommended to me, and she just everything that she said just really resonated with me. I felt the connection with my mother, and it felt really like I was connecting with her, not just her. And so right after that, I just said, out of nowhere, can you mentor me? And
oh my gosh, that's awesome. Oh my God.
And thankfully she said yes. So we worked together for 2 years, and she was just absolutely amazing, and really got me excited about it, but I just needed more, because it was just her and I. And so I would go on these meetup groups and do these like quick fire readings and all of these things. And it just wasn't a community. There was a lot of ego, and I'm just not about that. I'm not about, puffing myself up, because I know that, just as I said before, everybody can do this. So there's no pedestal, and it's really not about that. So, I was reading a ton of books and, Googling like everybody does. And I'm just not getting the answers that I'm looking for, or the support that I need. Because, if you Google something, you get about a ton of different answers to the same thing. So, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm reading this book. It's called You Are Psychic by Deborah Lynn Katz. And it just spoke to me.
Yeah.
It taught me everything that I've already was taught, but gave me more insight. And I was like, this is amazing. And so as I'm finishing the book, I see that she actually has a school. And it's called the International School for Clairvoyance.
Okay. And, that's great. Oh my God.
Oh, it was amazing. And it just, I knew just that, like, I wanted to take one class to see what it was. It was like, I ended up taking every single class. And as you know, sometimes, the same class twice.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And the thing about Deborah, she was just amazing. She's an amazing human being, as well as very supportive. We could email her after a class and ask her more questions. And we would do practice groups, things like that got us like more involved than just taking a class. Mm-hmm. So that was like vital for me, because what that helped me with was not just my abilities, which accelerated from there, but it gave me that support that I needed to explore more and to want to keep going with it. And I still facilitate there, and I love Deborah. She's dear to me. And as soon as I kind of got out of that that nurturing bubble, and it was like, what am I going to do with my abilities? I want to start a business, and I have clients from word of mouth, and I thought, as I'm, because I have that technology background, I'm thinking, okay, so if I get a website and, it's going to be local, and then, whatever, you're right. And it's going to be great and all that. But I knew that wasn't my calling. It was just not what I needed to do. And because a lot of it with me is about support. I love just as much as I love to do a reading, I love to also help people grow their own abilities and their own skills. And so with that technical background, I kind of came up with this marketplace, this social marketplace, Evolvme. But yeah, it was I'm seeing my friends who are coming from this school, and we've already built this community together. And what really struck me is that a lot of intuitives that are just amazing just didn't understand technology. Or, and that's difficult. So if you get your own site, you really have to not just be an intuitive, you have to be technical, and you have to know, SEO, which is search engine optimization for people and stuff like that. It's a bear, right?
Yeah, it is. And I'm literally just learning this now because I'm starting to redo my website. So I'm like, oh, right? I know what SEO means now.
But right, and it's like, okay, so what do you, and it's constant maintenance, things like that, to build your business is not just to, be great at what you're doing. You really have to, get yourself out there. And I will say this about you, Lauri, is that you are amazing at that. You are just have a love for interacting, as well as just a beautiful gift. So you are one of those dynamic people. But not everybody. It's true.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. But it's true. But not everybody has that. And also, especially a lot of intuitives like myself, I'm not really good about being a self-promoter. And that's not a bad word. It's just I can't sometimes find the balance between the two. I have to be extremely sincere. And as I'm starting out, I'm thinking it's really difficult. I'm looking at Instagram. I'm looking at, the way Etsy does it. And what I noticed was that, a lot of these intuitives have to really kind of, do things that they wouldn't normally do to get viewers, to get clients and things like that. And you kind of lose yourself a little bit in that. And then also it breeds a lot of ego and competition, which I am, as you know, I just detest, because that's not what spirituality is. It's about growth. It's about community, right? Yeah. And so, I'm taking my experience from this amazing school and wanting to incorporate that in a larger scale with other intuitives that need that support and in that community to help you grow. That is why Evolvme was born.
How did you come up with the name Evolvme?
Oh my God.
That's extraordinary. I mean, it's totally different, and it's like, wow. When you hear the word evolve or the name Evolvme, you kind of think, right, I get it, So how did you get that?
Oh my gosh, it's such a funny story. So I had a ton of things. It was like, this really has to, embrace exactly what my philosophy is about spirituality. And like I said, the way that I see some people viewing it is that this is, and which is why some people have a difficult time coming into their spiritual practice, is because there is that sort of pedestal where you're like, okay, well, I can't really do that, and all of those things. But it isn't that. It's an evolution of yourself. And all you're doing is just as you go to school to learn math, it builds on itself. So it's an evolution as opposed to something that you're just born with, which, that's the difference. Everybody is actually born with it. They just either they are a little more open as a child than they were, it depends on how you're brought into this world. Yeah. And but we all have the ability to learn it. And so so evolution and Evolvme, and I will say the me part actually was more because I was looking and I was like, oh my God, everybody's name is Evolve. Originally it's supposed to be Evolve, and I was like, I wanted it to not just be an evolution. I want to be an evolution of myself. So
oh my gosh, that's incredible. And you're right. It's kind of like when you start out in like spirituality and you're thinking about what to do about your business and stuff, and you think, oh, the lotus flower is beautiful. And then all of a sudden you realize everybody has a lotus flower, right? And it's like, that sort of thing. But I don't see anything else other than, Evolvme being about evolution. But I'm sure once it became into your consciousness, then it was everywhere, right? And so that's how, that's just amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Love that. Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
So tell my listeners, our listeners and viewers, what exactly can they expect if they would go to Evolvme? And there is a free version of this. So you explain all of that, because I really think that this is going to be huge for the spiritual community. So
Absolutely. Well, I know. And the great thing about Evolvme is very much like I was explaining my own path. And of course, all of this is defined by what I really experienced during my own sort of journey to spirituality. And that was, like what happens when you take a class. You take a class and then, you have more questions than you did when you started. So a lot of the time, I'm not going to say all the time, but Evolvme is, like I said, it's a marketplace where, you can, take yoga classes, meditation, get intuitive readings, healings, take workshops for intuitive development and different, all different modalities. We definitely, it's like all things spirituality. So you can do those things, but also there's a supportive community to, help support you. We have, our practitioners, a lot of them are going to be doing forums and practice groups for their students, as well as support groups for those who really kind of don't understand what they're going through. There's a social piece to this, to where, we're going to have, events and things like that for people to take part of. And there are different levels to that. So there is a free version where you can, get the services and things like that. And then the paid for version, it's only, I think it's like $4.99 a month. But you have access to the forums and the social events and all of those things that kind of keep it, keep you on your path. So if you have a question after you've taken a class, you can actually reach out to your teacher on a forum and say, hey, this was an amazing class. I just wanted to understand this. And you can always discuss that even further, or somebody else that might have an idea of what you're going through or a question that you have. So it's one of those things where we're continuing to give you those tools to build onto your spiritual path. And because it's so diverse, you're going to be exposed to all of these different, modalities and different practices, which I think is beautiful because, this is how we evolve as a people, is to, not just stay in your lane and just, we're not built for that. We're wanderers and we want to explore more and more. And when you get that support, you feel like you can do anything. And so, and I just, the spiritual community, so far, I really doesn't have a central place for us all to come together and with no ego, with no, with only support, for each other and others.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And you know what? I'm really drawn to the idea of, taking the ego out of it, because when the ego is out of it, it can flourish, and I always say, there's and people get amazed that I actually say this, but like sometimes, and I don't do this. It doesn't happen very often, but somebody will come to me and say, hey, can you give me a reading? And I'll be like, I'm not the medium for you. But I think I know who might be for you, it doesn't happen that often, but they're always amazed, you don't want the money. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's about money, of course, because we need to make a living, right? I get that. But you know what? I feel like that your energy is going to better fit this person and that sort of thing. And I love that you do that. I love that you're, because honestly, I've been involved in groups where there is so much ego involved and it's just and I've left groups because I'm sorry. I don't want to be a part of that. I want us all to be together and, I love that. And it's so, and I want to explain to everybody that, the first sort of, I don't even know what you would call it, the first sort of wave of practitioners that you have assembled, I'm so fortunate to be one of them. And oh my gosh, we did a community healing the other day. And I was like, this is the most incredible thing ever, you know, like we're all coming together as, you know, as one. And Theon facilitated this whole community healing, and it was unbelievable, you know? And I just love that. And then one other thing I wanted to say to you, before we get more into some of the other questions I have, you know, when I first met you and, you know, I was following, you know, all the different things that Evolvme was going to be doing. And there's these, you know, practitioner, conference calls that are on and all of that kind of stuff. And I was like really, what's the word? I can't think of the word. Like when intimidated, that's what I'm going to say. Intimidated by you and all that you're doing. But because you don't have that ego thing happening, you're so much more approachable than most people, I have to say. You know, you're so approachable and you're so easy to talk to. And, you know, and I've learned over these times, and it's so amazing that you're creating this in terms of all of that, you know. It's like you're saying, come with us. We're all going to do this together. I know this is going to sound really silly, but it reminds me of Imagine, the song Imagine by John Lennon.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's like one of my favorites. Me
too. Me too. It's like, can you even imagine a world where we can, I'm going to start to cry.
I know, you're going to make me laugh.
It's like, can you imagine a world where we all are like just in each other's corner, you know? And that's what you're building. Yeah. And that's why I'm so thrilled to be a part of this, you know.
And you just are so amazing, Lauri. And I just love you and your energy, and you're just so kind. But
yeah. Well, you know, I mean, that's who you are, you know. And if I see it, I'm sure the rest of the world is seeing it and about to see it if they haven't seen it yet, you know. So it's going to be like sort of like an Etsy, like what is it? Etsy meets Instagram kind of thing, or
basically, yeah. So it is. It's going to be like a hybrid. I like to call it a spiritual utopia.
Oh, how I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a supportive community of people that are sharing ideas, and I just love that you said that about giving, you know, that because there's no ego, and you get to know your community, there is that sense of, and I do the same thing very much of, you know, who's going to be really great, work with them. When you get to have that community, and you get to know these people, it comes back to you. All that love just comes back to you. So you don't feel as vulnerable when you have that support system, and people are genuinely, accepting of you and your and who you are, that you feel you feel empowered in that sense where, okay, I feel comfortable even giving a client to you or having them come to you for a specific thing that you do, because that it comes back to you. So I think that's just so important, for anybody. Just your spiritual path is so sensitive. You think about that, like you're coming across, or you're facing probably people in your life, like that, your family, people that you're close to, that don't really understand you. I know for sure. I had that with my own family. Even though we're close, they don't understand the things that I do, and they use the wrong terminology, stuff like that. They're trying to relate, but then you come to this community, and we get you. We get where you were when you started. We get where you are now, and you just you feel like you can be yourself.
Well, and in a sense, I hate to get all sappy about it, but in a sense, it's kind of like unconditional love.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Because like, okay, you think about like when you can be vulnerable with people, when you can say, I do this all the time. And that's my biggest thing is I'm always have to be sincere with who I am. I'm not going to tell you that that I know something when I don't know it. I'm okay with, I don't know every, technical word or, everything about one practice. I don't, and I don't try to, because it's too much.
Yeah.
But and I will say it, and I don't care. I always make this joke. Up until like 3 years ago, I think I didn't know, maybe less. I didn't even know what Gaia was. Somebody's like, "Oh yeah, Gaia." I'm like, I'm like, who's that? So I just know what I know, and I love that I learn things along the way.
Yeah.
So I don't protest to know everything about everything, and and that's easy. That once you have like an ego or something like that, you always feel like you need to always be you're always kind of fighting against it, right?
Yeah.
When you're like, this is who I am. I don't know. You're easier to be yourself.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And let me just tell you guys, she does, and hopefully, are you going to be developing courses for Evolvme too?
I've been going back and forth. One thing I do love is to interact with other intuitives and things like that. I love to teach one-on-one classes, but I'm still kind of throwing it back and forth about I definitely do like the astral travel classes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I can't wait.
I know, they're so much fun. Akashic records. I have a subconscious house thing that's a little different. It kind of teach people how to go into see their subconscious as a house, and so they start building onto their house or finding cool. things that they don't love about their house, and I show them how to sort of get into that, but fix it for themselves, stuff like that. And of course, the intuitive 101 like development courses.
Yeah. Well, what's really fascinating for me personally, and this is just for me, but when I was reading through your bio and I saw, now I just have to tell you, the astral travel thing, I have been trying for years to astral travel, and it just doesn't happen. I did notice that one time I was like, before my head even hit the pillow, I could feel something happening. So I feel like that I am astral traveling. I just don't remember it or whatever. But my point is that, so it's something that's interesting to me, right? Same thing with Akashic records. So I was like, oh my God, when I looked at your bio, I was like, holy crap, this is awesome, because I want to learn. I really want to learn more stuff. Like I want to learn the ins and outs of astral travel in the Akashic records. Seriously. Oh, so exciting. So, but all of that's going to be on. And again, even if you don't actually create those courses for your platform, I'm sure that there will be other people on there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And I will, I do it for, clients actually. So I do those things, but, I definitely want to, kind of, develop it a little bit more to sort of make it for beginners and things like that, so that they can kind of get a meditation practice, because meditation is really key for it. Having a healthy practice of meditation is important, especially for astral travel if you're not doing it at bedtime. So I always do it in meditation, and I would love to show you. I would definitely look at, like, I have a whole meditation that I go through, and I kind of walk you through how to kind of get out of your body.
Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. I'm serious. Like this is the kind of stuff that just tweaks me. I love it so much, So there's going to be, people are going to be selling stuff too, right? I mean, I know that we sort of joke about, yoga pants, but seriously, people like practitioners will be on there and be able to sell services and just stuff, right? I mean,
absolutely. absolutely. Well, we are the products are coming out in version 2, just because, like, as you know, we do a vetting process,
Sure.
you know, with our practitioners, but also
So glad you do that.
products are going to be a little more difficult. Yeah, so we have to we really want to refine that process of making sure that the products that we offer are going to be authentically sourced, and are, you know, not just kind of manufactured somewhere. We want to make sure that this, not just for the services, but also the products that are on here, you're going to be able to trust 100%. So once that, and that's more like version 2, maybe a few, maybe about 6 months after launch, we'll have that going. But yeah, so you know, the services, you know, you can you know, create courses, like Lauri was saying, events, things like that. You know, and I think just like what we were doing, we did that group healing. We were talking about doing a group healing like summit for people, because the other healing that Lauri, you were talking about was more just for us. We didn't even record it. It was just something that we did as a community, and not to kind of you know, showcase for anyone. But yeah, I think you know, there's just going to be you know, practitioners from everywhere. So you know, if you're not into one thing, you're definitely gonna be into another.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's going to be like discussion boards. Is that correct? So is there going to be like, how is that going to kind of, so there's going to be discussion boards, but is there going to be like groups, you know, or like how, like what people are going to be, there's going to be multiple ways of people connecting with each other. Is that, I guess I should say it that way. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. So through the forums, and so a lot of the practitioners are going to create their own forums, and yeah, so people can you know, be able to, you know, go through the forums and whatever they're interested in, get onto that forum and you know, contribute, which I think is a really great way for practitioners to really reach their, you know, the community. For people to understand what Lauri does, and for people to understand all the different you know, aspects, or you know, what motivates Lauri and what is she into today, and all of those things, I think, are really important. So yeah, definitely a lot of discussions going on within the forums, and all of that are going to be important. And even for classes, like you know, let's say I'm doing an Intuitive 101, which is you know, something that I definitely feel that I'm already doing it, but I'll do it on the app soon. But we'll be you know, creating practice groups aside from that, so that, you know, they can practice their, you know, abilities and things outside of class. So stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's just so exciting. And you know, and it's full disclosure, when I asked Theon to come on, you know, I was like, okay, so what should we like sort of talk about in terms of all this? And Spirit keeps giving me the word community. I don't know. And it sounds like you had the same sort of similar experience when you started that I did, in that I found, and that's what I was looking on my phone to see the book, right? Because I had a book. There was one book, and it wasn't the same one as yours. I was thinking it was the same one as yours. No, that would have been crazy. But, but you know, but it wasn't the same one. But it's the same story, though. Like, there was a book, and it just, everything worked. Everything made sense when I read that book. But then after that, I was like, where do I find this? You know, and you don't know where to go. You don't know you don't know who to talk to. You don't know who to connect with, and you don't know who to trust.
I know. I was just going to say that. Yes. Yeah, it's true, because, you know, because of that, you know, that ego side of it, that, you know, you think somebody is, you know, genuine, and it's hard sometimes. But thankfully we're intuitive. So you can always kind of weed that out. But yeah, you're right. It is difficult, you know, to, you know, get that real support, from people. And I think what happened, with the spiritual community is that because of all of that, people got further and further away, very, just like what's going on, outside of the spiritual community. There's a lot of, that separation, and there's a lot of that mistrust, that is happening. And we have to get back to the core. The spiritual community, spirituality is the core of everything. That's how I feel. And when we can get back to, for the spiritual community to create that, strength within and support within, themselves, then I feel like it will just kind of echo out.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well, I can say this. This is Evolvme. So let me just put it in terms of this. Okay, so if you've listened to me before, I have this one deck of oracle cards, right? There's multiple decks of oracle cards out there, right? There's thousands of, right? But there's this one deck that I work with that I can tell was made from the highest vibration. I don't know who created it, to be honest with you, but I know that it was made out of a hugely, I don't even know if that's a word, but a very, very high vibration. They're called Psi cards, PSY cards. And I don't know who actually created them or whatever, right? But I know that they were created out of the highest vibration, right? And so because of that, anytime I use these cards, the message is extraordinary. And the connection that the card, whatever it is, has with the other person that I'm reading is there's a real, it's like extraordinary. It's an extraordinary connection, right? I gotta be honest. That's exactly how I feel about Evolvme. You are creating this out of the highest vibration. And I got chills. And because of that, it's going to be the connection that people really, really need, in this world right now. So let me just, real quick, the date of launch, actual launch, you tell about the launch.
Oh, sure. Which is exactly 1 month from today. It's October 25th. Yes. So, and for the new moon, and today's the new moon too, which is super awesome. I know. This is also, I'm getting chills about that. And that, what I think is beautiful is that we had, had a meeting, and, the practitioners, all of us, decided together, just as much as we, decide everything else, we decided, of course, the launch date, which was awesome. So yeah, we're really excited, and we're, looking for, beta users. We're going to be doing beta until, I believe, the 1st of, January 1st, New Year's. So right after New Year's, we're going to start the launch out to everybody.
Big launch. Right. So now if they want to peruse this at all, it's evolvme.com, right? Eve, go ahead, you say it.
Oh yeah, it's evolve without the E, me.com. So evolveme.com.
Without the E at the end, right? So evolveme.com. And I have to say, I'm just so excited, and I'm honored to be part of it. I'm so this is like a new community. And it's so funny because I feel like that, in a sense, that when we all sort of hibernated during COVID and we all went inside, some extraordinary things were born in terms of that. And I think this is one of them,
Yeah.
So,
I was, in doing research, I was looking at year after year, how people come into spirituality. And I think it was 3 times as many people, starting from 2019, 3 times since, have gone to a spiritual practice from the year after, the year prior. So every year, it's like 3 times more people are coming in to a spiritual practice. So it did actually bring people into it, and hopefully this app will continue that connection.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. So exciting. So Theon, thank you so much for joining today. Oh my gosh, this like hour went so fast.
I know. I know. I could talk to you. We did this before when we first
Our initial meeting was supposed to be like a half an hour long. We went on for like what? An hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half.
I think an hour and a half.
But you know what though, when you got something good going, it's like you don't want to stop. I totally get that. So.
I know. I do. And that's why I knew that this app was really something, is when I opened it up to find practitioners, and people like you came, and it was all just this beautiful high vibrational thing that happened. I mean, I think I cried on every single call that I had, tears of joy, of course, but just thinking these are these amazing people that are going to, set the stage for this community. And I'm just so proud of that. I'm so proud to know you and to know all of these amazing people. So.
Yeah, I know it's going to be extraordinary. This journey is just beginning, right? Or this aspect of the journey is just beginning, right? So, so thank you once again for being here today. I appreciate it. And evolveme.com, and October 25th is the beta rollout, and see where I invite you to go within. Anybody listening to this, go within and see if this is something that you should be checking out. So thanks again, Theon, and namaste, everybody. Have a beautiful day.